Dear fellow scholars, this is a new episode with a special guest. Today, we are going to find out how lizards are masters of disguise and hunting. The incredible ambush predator that you see here is also an incredibly stealthy hunter. It can strike with lightning speed and then disappear again in a flash, and all this while being completely camouflaged. So, what's the secret? What makes these small lizards such great hunters? I'll tell you in a moment. But first, some statistics. There are some 6,000 species of lizards alive today, and they live pretty much everywhere on Earth except for Antarctica. They come in all shapes and sizes. This one, for instance, is a little green It is about 2 inches long and can be found in the south of the United States, Central America, and the Caribbean. These little guys are mostly plant eaters, but every now and then they also eat insects. But our stealthy hunter is this guy, the 39 racer. You can find it in the deserts of North Africa and Southern Europe. These lizards can grow up to 8 inches long and they are true predators. Their diet consists mainly of other reptiles, but they also happily eat birds and mammals, even if they themselves are reptiles. Oh yes, these are among the fastest reptiles on Earth. They can catch prey as big as they are. And they do this by tackling them headfirst. Yep, that's right. Although their teeth are not particularly suited for crushing skulls, they will still go for the kill. But they do, I know, have to crack the skull of their victim, because they actually kill their prey by suffocating them. Imagine that you are a lizard and your main hunting strategy is to tackle something bigger. Then you head first and then slowly squeeze it to death. Now, that takes some guts. Okay, but how do they manage to grab such large prey? Well, lizards have very flexible jaws and can gape widely, but the secret of their incredible hunting prowess lies elsewhere. Before tackling their meal, they basically turn inside out. They bend their ribs backward and their stomachs down and forward. This makes their throats stretchy and elastic so they can swallow prey whole. And this is where our story starts. Lizards like this one swallow their food whole. They don't chew their food, so they need to make sure that their meal will fit inside their mouths. Of course. This is not too hard for a snake because its jaws can move completely independently of each other and can extend far beyond the borders of its skull. But for a lizard, this is a challenge. For instance, this green NOL has a very small mouth. In order for it to be able to swallow a large insect, its jaws have to stretch at least 150% of their original length. And since these little guys cannot move their jaws independently of each other, the only way to achieve this is by turning their entire stomach inside out. In the process, they literally push their guts into their mouths. Isn't that incredible? Now, I wonder, is this also true for our stealthy 30-line racer? Does it also have to turn its stomach inside out in order to swallow large prey? Well, let's have a look. As you can see, this little lizard has swallowed a small mammal whole. But when we look more closely, we find that its belly sticks out strangely. Is this because it has eaten a large meal? Well, hold on to your papers because here comes the jaw-dropping conclusion. Lizards do not need to turn their stomachs inside out in order to swallow large prey. The flexible backbone of the 30-lined racer allows it to bend its belly in such a way that it can swallow prey as large as it is without having to deform its mouth. Talk about a flexible solution! So what is the secret of these lizards? How do they become invisible? Well, this is not too hard for a chameleon, but this guy is no chameleon. Our hero is actually a master of disguise. See, this little lizard is covered in tiny scales which reflect polarized light. The orientation of these scales determines the direction from which the light is reflected, and depending on the angle of the incoming light, different parts of its body appear shiny or matte. Since the contrast between shiny and matte is color dependent, this means that different parts of its body appear colored. Now, if we change the angle of the light, the appearance of these colors changes as well. And if we know exactly which colors to use and where to put them, we can mimic the appearance of almost any background. And this is exactly what this lizard does. Its scales are specialized for this purpose. They contain guanine, which scatters the light and makes these parts of the body matte. The rest of its body is transparent, and by controlling the amount of guanine in different parts of its body, This lizard can decide where it wants to appear matte and where shiny, and hence it can change its apparent colors. Being able to change colors is of course handy when you are a hunter, because it allows you to blend in with the environment and sneak up on unsuspecting prey. But there is more. Depending on the surface structure of the background, the lizard can also change the degree of glossiness. The smaller the details on the background, the higher the glossiness of the lizard. So this means that this lizard is actually mimicking both the color and the structure of the background. And this makes it virtually invisible. Indeed, these lizards are superb hunters because they combine the ability to strike fast with an incredibly effective means of camouflage. I hope you fellow scholars enjoyed this episode as much as I did. Thanks for watching and for your generous support, and I'll see you next time.